It began with harmless laughter, the kind that fills a quiet dinner table and makes everything feel a little lighter. We were at a small downtown restaurant, candlelight flickering softly between us, the gentle clinking of silverware marking a comfortable rhythm. My husband, Ryan, had been putting in long hours lately, and this dinner was my attempt to reconnect. For the first time in weeks, I saw him loosen up. We were halfway through dessert when my phone buzzed. A message from Daniel, my oldest friend. I smiled automatically, a reflex born from years of shared jokes and memories. Ryan noticed. "Who's that?" he asked, casual in tone but sharp in his eyes. "Daniel," I said, chuckling. He seemed to sense something silly as usual. "Try to keep things light," I added jokingly. "You know, if you ever mess up, I could just run away with him." I expected laughter, but there was none. His smile vanished, replaced by a silence that made the air feel heavy. I reached for my drink, pretending not to notice the shift, but tension crawled up my spine. Ryan's voice was low, steady. "You think that's funny?" Something in the calm, yet cold edge of his tone made my heart skip. I tried to laugh it off, but he just stared, unblinking. For the first time that night, I realized my joke might have struck deeper than I intended. The silence stretched longer than it should have. Ryan's gaze stayed locked on me, not angry, just unreadable, the kind that makes you question what someone is thinking, even when you'd rather not know. I was joking. I finally said, forcing a smile that didn't reach my eyes, "You know Daniel, he's practically family." Ryan leaned back, expression unreadable. "Family doesn't flirt with you in texts," he said quietly. I froze. "What are you talking about?" He reached into his jacket pocket, pulled out his phone, and set it on the table. My name lit up the screen, messages I had sent to Daniel. The air went still. I didn't need to unlock it to know what he had seen. I had forgotten how careless I had been. Those playful, harmless exchanges I had convinced myself meant nothing. "Ryan, it's not what it looks like." I began, but my words fell hollow. He didn't shout. He didn't accuse. He just said softly, "I read enough to understand what it feels like when your wife laughs at something another man says the way she used to laugh with me." My chest tightened. He wasn't angry. He was hurt. And somehow that was worse. The realization hit hard. In chasing laughter, I hadn't noticed how far I drifted from the person who once made me feel safe. I reached for his hand, but he pulled away gently, like someone finally giving up on holding something that refused to stay. We drove home in silence. City lights blurred past the windows, streaks of gold and gray. Ryan's hand stayed steady on the wheel, but I felt the distance between us, a quiet wall rising. Every word I wanted to say dissolved before it reached my lips. When we arrived, he went straight to the study. I followed, heart pounding. "Ryan," I whispered, "you're overthinking this." "Daniel and I—" He turned, and the look on his face stopped me cold. "Do you even hear yourself anymore?" he asked softly. "You spend hours talking to another man, sharing jokes, secrets, things you don't share with me, and then call it a joke when I react." I opened my mouth, but no sound came. He wasn't yelling. He didn't need to. Every word landed like a truth I had been avoiding. "You used to look at me that way, like I was enough," he continued. "Now I feel like a guest in my own marriage." Tears blurred my vision. "I never meant to hurt you," I said, voice cracking. "I know," he said, his tone breaking. "But you did." Then he walked past me. The faint trace of his cologne lingered, and for the first time, I couldn't tell if he was leaving for the night or for good. As the door closed behind him, I stood frozen, realizing my joke hadn't been just a slip of words. It had been the sound of something precious breaking, and the silence that followed was louder than any argument ever could be.